Greetings, everyone. This is Joanna from Universal Love and Light. And what a beautiful day that we have here. It's been quite stormy lately, but it's a beautiful day. And so we wanted to get the beautiful reflections of the water there. So thanks for joining. I have a few very important and very sacred messages. So this is a very beautiful gathering, a sacred communion with the highest frequencies of love and light. Your higher selves and soul selves are with us as well for any activations or movement of energies that no longer serve. And what many are sensing and feeling, transitions of energies on our planet. And some of those transitions and the turbulences that many can feel or sense is our way to realign and reassess what is the true purpose, the higher purpose, um, the higher journey, really. And it's all come into a big culmination for me of epiphany. And there's many, many, many epiphanies on the path of awakening, as we all know. I'm just going to start this other recording so that I know it's here. Thank you. And this is a very special recording. It's the 15th of August today. And we're in a beautiful celestial alignment of bringing life and bringing resonance and bringing sacred resonance back to the divine feminine and the great mother energy of our universe, of our planet, of who each of us are as the great mother. And many of the epiphanies that I've had in my journey of my life, of who I was as a divine child, a crystalline child, and a sacred child of love and light, and the journey that I've had in transcending many of my themes as a soul and how to transcend limitation and fear, and still moving through those experiences now that I'm more intuitively connected with the collective heart, as so many of you are and so many of the children are. So this will be a message for families and ascension as well. Well, many messages about children and the family here, because it's all one. We are all one. But this important message from the heavenly councils that are coming through today is, and I'm going to inspire some of my profound energies and messages and remembrances, that we each are the sacred cornerstone of new evolutionary beginnings. We are each the cornerstone of new evolutionary sacredness. We are each the cornerstone of all that is great and good and happy and joyful and one and harmony and the value of all that we each hold truly special for what's within us. And in these moments of big transition as planets, we're halfway through the year, and we always go through this reflection of what had occurred in the last 6 months and how do we want the next 6 months to go. And we're at a really big pivot point for the next 6 months to truly reflect within what is really, really important for us as a collective. We're all connected at the heart. We're all connected within. And what we each move through individually, what the children collective move through individually, affects all of us. And when we're each working through and integrating and releasing what no longer serves, the limitations and the fears, we're allowing ourselves to step up into new platforms of potential for the entire collective. But it's important that we know and really work back to that center bridge. It is a sacred bridge. It's a sacred song. And we've put it in so many different metaphors and understandings because it is infinite for each and every one. Will have a different feeling or sensation about it. And this sacred space within us, this sacred altar, is that sacred space that we experience source, ourselves as source, ourselves as unconditional pure love. And it's really, it is the most pivotal and profound undercurrent of our planetary evolution. It really, truly is. There's nothing more important than the value of self-love and self-honor and self-compassion. And this is held within this divine sacred portal, this divine sacred heart that allows us to link with our higher, grander soul selves, our higher self, our cosmic self, our universal self, our omnipresent self, and that is the God self, the Christ consciousness that allows us to experience all those multidimensional aspects of who we are. So many of the crystalline children have come forward to remind us of this, to awaken those memories within us, to awaken those, oh, maybe we can do things a little bit differently, and they come home with their suggestions and ideas. and how the children collective in and of themselves is the cornerstone of fifth dimensional, higher vibrational, sacred living, loving, behaving. But we truly must look within and begin that sacred path, that sacred acknowledgement. It's a sacred experience of benevolence. It's a sacred path of benevolence for thyself. Anything that anyone wishes to be of good is that benevolent factor, is those big happy changes that we all want for ourselves, for our community, for our families, for our world. And it is benevolence, and that's found within love. And we have to allow ourselves that sacred blessing that's held within our hearts. Each and every one of us have that. And it's our own choice to seek that space, that silence, that song within that calls to us and whispers love, that calls to us and whispers encouragement, that calls to us and whispers empowerment, that calls to us and whispers our greatness and why we're each here to share it and to explore it and to express it in the infinite ways that we're able. And each of the children that have come forward are also reflecting and mirroring to us the importance of the cornerstone, of the sacredness of life. Each of them are that cornerstone. That cornerstone it's where the 2 points meet so that everything can be foundationally stable and built upon the cornerstone of greatness, the cornerstone of higher dimensional living, the cornerstone of enlightenment. It doesn't matter what you want that cornerstone to be a part of, a sacred building or a sacred temple. There are benevolent factors of that cornerstone energy that allow us to experience our own greatness, our own oneness as source. And the children come forward to show us that they are the cornerstone of our future. They are the cornerstone of our peace. They are the cornerstone of our sacred love for ourselves, that they each reflect to us, that they each mirror to us, that they each come to share with us. And how are we moving about in that awareness to bring more sacredness to these relationships within ourselves, within our children, and how important it really is. The sacred resonance of the message is about sacredness. It's that unconditional love of who you are as a human, and how much that potential grows into any and all things. Healing your own body, healing any issues within the multidimensional bodies that we've often talked about, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the etheric. And that sacredness is that path with you and Source Creator, or God, or the Spirit, or the Holy Spirit, whatever that name or that experience or that vibration means to you. It's a vibration of benevolence. It's a vibration of the infinite. It's a vibration of the eternal. And it's being mirrored to and reflected to us in an infinite number of ways in our collective reality, so that we can each wake up to a new level of how we can guide and direct our energies into that sacredness. And that's really the vibration that I've been receiving, is directing the energy into sacredness, into our relationships and through our relationships that we have with one another and with ourselves, with our planet. The love that we have for our planet, that sacred, the Divine Mother energy that she is, reflecting all sacredness back to us, and always with all elements of life, the sacredness of the blessing of who we are as higher dimensional beings, and threading ourselves into higher consciousness templates as we engage with the higher consciousness of the planet, the higher consciousness of the Elohim, the higher consciousness of the creator gods that work with us and work within us. And I was also brought to not only are these sacred connections, the sacred entanglements that we have with who we are and all that come before us, because all that come before us are versions of us. And I've been practicing, I am God, you are God, we are one. And everybody that comes before you, regardless of how challenging or turbulent a situation or an experience might be, for ourselves to see that God within that situation, so that we can begin to shift our energetic guidance into a sacred, benevolent experience. and not get caught up in the political dramas or the unfoldings, and truly allow ourselves to say, well, why is that unfolding, and how may I guide into that higher dimensional veil that is available? And it is from within. How am I holding myself sacred within my community and what I feel about these things that are unfolding? And what they've been showing me is that we each have, and we've all known this, but it's becoming more and more important that we recenter and create sacredness, and heal those aspects of us that are judging, that are separating, that are negating and negative of those old belief systems. And that's the ego creating that safety factor. If we're unsafe in our political unfoldings, or we're getting caught up in the news, and that causes unsafety, and whatever those issues and situations are, we're able to guide our energies, and we're able to guide all that we are into a more sacred and benevolent experience of who we are with our reality, with others around us, with ourselves. And this unfolding of all that is, this unfolding of society, the unfolding of the community, the unfolding of, politics, how we're moving as a collective, can be guided by each and every one of us in a unique and really profound and abundant and limitless potential way. We each have that spark within us, that source spark, that sacred spark within us that knows and remembers sacred living, that knows sacred community, that knows sacred communions, sacred light communities, where we're collecting and we're gathering to commune in sacred ways, to live upon the planet in beautiful sacred ways, that you know yourself to be sacred, and stepping into that vibration of sacredness and releasing through love, through compassion, the negativities that have held you so bound and cornwalled into a belief system that's hard to break out of, spinning on that same treadmill, if you will. But the sacred resonance is all held within. We have this sacred resonance, and the sacred resonance is unconditional source love. And this unconditional source love is that cornerstone to all buildings that you choose to experience and co-create with yourself and explore, infinitely explore with source as source. And that cornerstone is that sacred resonance of who you are. And in all of my journey of awakening, it was my great excitement to come forward and to share that sacredness, to share that miraculousness in that discovery. It's an intimate discovery, it's an intimate unfolding, and it relates and it can be reflected in everything in your reality. How society unfolds, how the political shifts can be done through the sacredness of the resonance of who you are, your sacred resonance with source, as source. The sacred resonance of love, the sacred resonance of holding yourself in sacred space and sacred love, holding yourself in compassion in those moments of wobble. And then allowing yourself to know that we can also be this cornerstone of reflection and setting the example for the children's collective that they're aching and reaching out for us to vibrationally co-create. We're here setting the vibrational cornerstone, and the children are then going to create another profound cornerstone, but we need to create that cornerstone of sacred resonance first. And that sacred resonance is in all that we are, thought, word, and deed, and our guidance from our heart center, because that's the sacred center. Guidance and directing that energy from your sacred heart, directing that energy beyond fear, directing that energy beyond limitation, directing that energy into happiness, into those grand and big happy changes, into those grand and dynamic fifth dimensional, higher dimensional living that we've all dreamt of, and that we've all seen in our visions and in our dreams, and our teams assisting us. But it's really important that now in this sacred summer, it's a very beautiful and sacred summer, we're giving so many opportunities before the fall equinox, that we each create, if you so desire, and if it's connecting with you, what truly is important that you see within yourself in the bigger picture, because within yourself ripples to the bigger picture. And how you hold yourself within that higher dimensional perspective. What do you see yourself and feel yourself and emulate yourself doing? And how may that inspire you and encourage you to be that cornerstone of sacred resonance. And that cornerstone is pivotal in all foundations, and why many of the timelines that we are now healing and correcting were not built on that cornerstone. They were false, and they were lack of integrity, or they were lack of substance, of love. And that sacredness, that connection of Mother Father is only within, of Source Creator, of the Holy Great Mother. And that sacredness is, who am I in the deepest part of all that I am, in sacred connection with Gaia? Who am I in the deepest part of all that I am, in sacred connection with the children? Who am I in the deepest part of all that I am, a sacred song with Source? And that sacred energy, that sacred resonance, that sacred asking begins to ignite the fields that you live within, and it begins to put together those building blocks. And that cornerstone that you feel very tangible, that you feel very sturdy and stable, and owning and claiming who you are and your power. And creating those boundaries that doesn't feel right for me. I'm not going to be touched and unnerved by the negative energies or by what's going on around me. And I stand in my power and I claim my sacredness. It's really, really, really important. And it's such a journey that I've been on, because my whole journey is about claiming my power to own the right about what I know and feel and experience as Source. And that's been a sacred, sacred journey. And it's been the portal of my heart that's opened me into so many experiences that are miraculous, that are undefinable, indescribable, that allow me to bring forward the sacred messages, so that we take time to reflect silently and with great sacredness about our path here, about our requirement here, our value here, great value, and how all children reflect that to us. And how may we begin to reflect sacredness into our relationship with the children and bring it up to a higher level of sacredness and oneness. Our journey here, Divine Human, is our sacred journey of oneness. It's our sacred journey of who are we in oneness with our bodies, our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, our etheric body. Who are we in sacred oneness with the divine energies that Gaia offers, the divine potentiality that Gaia offers in all of her gloriousness? Who are we in our potentiality and our sacredness with the myriad of universal families and beings that we are, that we allow ourselves to acknowledge and connect and entangle with and co-create with? Who are we in our divine and holy sacredness with the children, all animals, all life? Every aspect of life is sacred, and it's a portal within your heart that you can open and create more of. And this portal, again, is that cornerstone to building all other realms, all other worlds that are beyond what we can see and understand, and why it's so important. The sacred connection of the self, the sacred connection of the earth, the sacred song of the earth that we're being sung through the universe, the sacred portal connections that were given by other celestial teams and bodies, because we're so loved very much, for us to remember our sacredness of love, for us to remember our oneness of all that we are as love, and choosing to create that sacredness. I choose to create from this sacredness within my heart. I choose to create this oneness within all that I am. I choose to create from the higher frequencies that I might not see or feel, but I know that there's sacredness within, and I create from this space. I choose to call in love, and I choose to be love, and I choose to think love and act in love. I choose to allow all my reflections to be love. In those moments that I might wobble out of love, I come back and recenter and forgive myself and know that I am pure love. And that's sacred, that journey of forgiveness and coming back, that journey of forgiveness and acknowledgement and coming back, because that sacredness flows out to all your forgiveness of yourself, instead of sitting in those places of greater judgment or disrespect or disregard. And that disregard of self emulates and reflects back to the disregard that we see going on in our society, in our communities. And why it's really, again, important that we thread it right back to the divine sacredness of who we are as Source. Who are we as this beautiful culmination of new light? Who are we as this beautiful culmination as the essence of love? The cornerstone that we each are building to greater honor and to greater self-respect, that we're setting new boundaries of what's okay now, what's not okay. How we set those sacred boundaries and choose to say no to negativity, choose to say no to those things that don't feel good. I can choose to say no and not thread myself there. I can detach from it, it's okay. and focus and direct your attention. And what we often teach the children is direct your energy, direct your focus, direct your excitement into what it is you truly want. And that's creating that that beautiful portal, that veil that we're all stepping through into higher dimensional worlds. But in any and all enlightenment, it's really the path of sacredness. It's your channel of all that is. It's your channel of all that is love. It's all that is expansive. It's all that is wise. It's all that is love. It's all that is your own power. It's all that is your own creativity. All of that is source creator. All that is dynamic and co-creation is that sacred portal. And it's that sacred resonance of you as life. You are each the dynamic sacred particles of love. Every child, every insect, every part of our planet is a sacred particle of love, a sacred spark of love, and that sacred spark is source. There is sacred source within all words, within all thoughts. And how may we each create that true pride and ownership of what we create through our thoughts and what we create through our focus and what we create through our discipline to know ourselves as sacred. And allowing ourselves to live and explore in this way, and really let go of really what no longer serves, and the dramas that can and will come forward is going to require that we each really commit and ground ourselves to a higher level of sacredness, to a higher level of self-love that is this entire journey of why we're here. It's the entire journey for us to see ourselves more than we thought we were and we're told that we were, to feel that sacred experience within it, begin exploring within it and honoring it, and coming forth within it and being proud within it. This is why we're each here to explore our greatness. We're each here to explore our godliness, our sourceness, our spirit. We're each here to explore the perfection and the infinite love that we are, because love is expansive and eternal and infinite, and it will thread you in those ways. And the fears and the dramas that are bound by control and the bondage are limited and destructive. They're very contracting. They there is no expansive in that. And so it's really timely that in all of these celestial energies of our alignments with the Great Mother, our alignments with the Great Mother energy, our alignments with the Great Cosmic Divine Alliance Gate, that we're amplified energies of positivity, amplified energies of love, amplified energies of our oneness, that we begin to truly sit in appreciation, truly sit in that sacred resonance of who we are as miracles of life. We are each miracles of life. We are the essence of our higher knowing. We are the essences of all that we think that is outside of us is us. That we are an archangel lifting ourselves up to remember that and acknowledge that. We are each ourselves, the ascended masters, come back many, many times over. So that in those moments of sacred reflection, that master comes forward to remind you that you are a master many times over. Allow yourself the permission of your own power. Allow yourself the permission of your own sacred love. Allow yourself the permission to know that we are threading that sacredness as the cornerstones of who we are as Gaia, as Earth, as a human collective, moving into multidimensional realms of expansive play. That we ourselves are the expansiveness of all that is love, of all that is sacred, of all that is the divine, and the holy counsels that sit behind us in everything that we do and everything that we say and spin or want to create. And so we want to create this beautiful, peaceful invocation for all of those moving through profound experiences of change and transformation, a beautiful experience of transformation. And we're connecting with the holy councils, the divine and holy Mother, Father, and the Great Mother energy of Gaia and Earth that supports us in every way that is sacred and is beautiful and is profound. And the holy children that have come forward in their sacred communities and their sacred collectives to remind us of the cornerstones that we each are to higher building, to more stable building, for buildings that honor and love life, the sacredness of life, the beauty of life, the journey of life, the exploration, the experience, and the expression of life. And that is love. Life is love, and love is life. And it's a truth. It's a universal truth. So how may this become a sacred experience within us? And it's been my experience in all that I've put forward and written and created, the song of my soul was to express myself as a part of that holy experience of love that I've never known or understood myself to be, and understanding that that love concept is truly sacred. Sacredness means the respect and the honor and the diligence and the discipline, and I know those are words that sound very old, but are contractive, but there truly does take discipline to transcend the dramas and transcend what the human goes through in harmonizing the negative ego, in stilling and healing the negative ego, in surrendering the negative ego to spirit and source, and taking that leap of faith into unconditional love and life. That you are that leap of faith. You are that sacred resonance in all moments to create something more, to create the expansiveness of who you are, to create such a divine, heartfelt, and deep, deep healing of every particle within you, every atom, every cell. That deep knowing within you that you are sacred resonance, that you vibrate farther and wider than you can know. And your vibrational thoughts and your vibrational focus and your vibrational intention, your vibrational co-creation resonates to the children collective, resonates to the all, resonates to other planets and star systems that cannot be seen or known, but that you're a part of. And that sacred resonance is also the archangels that are on the other side of the veil, if you will, or what cannot be seen or felt. But they're aspects of you that are lifting and reaching your hand so that you may soak within your sacred resonance, so that you may soak and awaken within the resonance vibration of what is sacred, and how all life, regardless of how small the particles it may appear, and how science has defined or described life and put it in little boxes, that we each take placement within that sacred resonance because it is us. We are the planet. We are the God within it. We are the source within it. We are the spirit within it. And we create that sacred resonance of light and love that it turns into and spins into and co-creates within. We are this, every spark that's held within every child's heart, each of us, as they are within us, as we are within Mother, Father, Creator, Source, Creator, the heavens, the heavenly councils, and all planets that stem from here to the infinite. And multiverse energies, allowing us to also know that your sacred resonance can be felt from other universes. And you are held with legions that stand and encircle you and envelope you, sending you love and empowerment and prayers and well wishes, that you remember those moments of those sacred oneness that you co-create within. And love yourself wholly. Love yourself wholly. Love yourself sacredly. And give all others the same. And sacredly hold yourself within a blessing of this resonance, for you are the cornerstone. You are the cornerstone of all that is life. You are the cornerstone of all that is expansiveness. You are the cornerstone of all that is evolution. You are the cornerstone of all that is love, continuing love, continuing love. And we all desire this and we all wish this. So how may we focus our heart's opening and our heart's interaction and our heart's entanglement and our heart's co-creation into all that is naturally just innately us, allowing ourselves to be that love, allowing ourselves to be this sacred, giving yourself permission. I am special and I am sacred, and yeah, it feels good. And allowing that to be the temple that we set for the children, because they are the cornerstone that feels those vibrations of reflection. Are you feeling sacred, and can they feel sacred too? Well, what does sacred mean to you? Do you know you're special? Do you know you're treasured? You are valued in every way. You're a valuable, precious energy of life. You are the sacred resonance of Source. You are the sacred resonance of Source. And it's through each of us creating these bridges of dimensional light, of dimensional love. And through song and through sound. of your love transforms and transmutes all. The sincerity and the truth and the power and the empowerment that you provide yourself, that you give yourself permission to acknowledge, to open into, to become aware of and explore and express and create your sincerity of being who you are as love. That is sacred resonance. Your sacred resonance to feel love upon the earth, to feel it come back to you and experience it in new ways. The resonance of sacred love in every child that is reaching out and aching for new perspectives and new beginnings. The cornerstone of light that we each create through our own inner sacredness, through our own inner entwinement with Source as Source. For it's the blessing that we've each been given through free choice to seek ourselves as the most expansive experience of love, the sacred experience of love that will transform and change all things. The vibrations within the earth from fear to divine and sacred love, and that we create the light vibrations and rainbows in and out of all that is earth. And those rainbow vibrations spread to the whole entire collective that is love and light and living harmoniously in oneness and in joy. And every sacred child feels those rainbow vibrations of oneness and harmony in their own perfection of their own knowing that they are also cornerstones. They are the most important cornerstone for all future dimensions and planets and realms. And we hold all sacred life sacredly. Sacred life sacredly. Sacred life sacredly. You are that spark of sacredness. Thought, word, and your focus on who and how you direct your life is sacred. I move about in this beautiful sacred way. I move about in this beautiful sacred dance. I move about in this beautiful sacred acknowledgement that I'm garnering my power as divine and sacred. I'm garnering my power to say no to negativity. I'm garnering my power to direct my energies in all that is sacred and loving because I am. And how may we claim this? How may we co-create within this? How may we explore within this? How may we be this? For the earth is sacred and her song is so, through us and to us and for us. Uplifting one another through sacredness, empowering one another through sacredness, creating oneness for one another through sacredness, and all that is sacred, bringing all life together because it is. But we must acknowledge it and be it and live it, that vibration, that core vibration that offers out stillness, that offers out the perfection of all things, that offers out all is well, that offers out I trust my path with Source, I am the path of Source, that offers out all is perfect and all is well, I release fear. I am perfect, I am love, I am sacred, I release fear. I am perfect, I am love, I am sacred, I release fear. And I treat all others in sacredness, for their energies are sacred, for I am them, they are God, I am God, we are one. And then that's that sacred threading. I thread with you in sacredness. There is no more judgment, there's no comparing. I release all that is lack. And that's the ego wanting its ability to keep all things as they were. And as we understand that, we shift into this new paradigm of sacredness. And how may we direct each and every one of us in that great excitement of this journey, of this soul song, of this soul's experience of sacred oneness with Source? How may we experience our fullness, our grandness? Why each and every one of us are here to explore our own unique destinies, our own unique experiences as sacred, in whatever way that we do, whether it's healing or writing or teaching or caring for children, and however these come forward. And you know what's true for you by claiming that power and say, I'm ready for sacredness. I choose to create sacredly. I choose greater creative, sacred thoughts. I choose a more dynamic, self-loving approach. I choose to be inspired, and I choose to see the goodness and the godness in all things. I choose to see the love in all things. I choose to know that we can create sacredness and goodness and love in all things. And those are the cornerstones that we each are a part of, that we each are the collaboration of the emergence of sacredness. We are each the emergence of sacredness, traveling our own journeys to sacredness. revealing our sacredness through those journeys, because it's self-love. It's a deep self-love experience with Source. All moments, all things, all beings, all experiences, every moment that we are threading are new experiences to thread beyond what is known right now. And it's a sacred, sacred, sacred blessing. Your oneness with Source is sacred. In all moments there may be doubt, in all moments there might be fear, in all moments there might be whatever it might be that you're challenged. That sacred connection is always available, and it's a spark that exists in all things. Thoughts and words, intentions and focus that creates worlds. And why we can garner this and truly own it and honor the permission and the acknowledgement to be sacred and live as sacred, so that we create sacredly. And it's reverberated back to us. Because we're worth it, we're worthy of it, we're worthy of our sacredness. In all that we've brought forward, most often the lines is the lines that we've written about or that we've spoken or channeled, is that you're far grander and greater than you've given yourselves credit or allowed yourselves to be given credit for. And that permission to be sacred, that permission to be powerful, that permission to be loved, that permission to be that cornerstone for someone, so that they see that reflected vibration in you. And they build those stable foundations of sacredness, that sacred universal frequency that we are repairing all other timelines and all other earthly experiences that we've succumbed to fear and control. And it's a big part of us moving into 2020 that we truly begin to create from this beautiful essence of sacredness that we are. And we begin to see life, we begin to feel life sprout through us. We begin to release the vibrations that no longer serve through our own permission and acknowledgement. Wow, I really felt that judgment there. And that judgment is creating within the collective. And why we see unfold what we do in the collective. And it's up to each of us to bring those sacred experiences in and release those judgments. And then go within and forgive yourself for those judgments that you've had, because they're for the frequencies you have about you and for you that you're healing. And we can each do that as we rebirth ourselves as Earth. We are that sacred spark of Earth, each of us. We are that sacred spark of creating that new frequency of all good, happy things that are unfolding for us. We are that vibration, that core vibration within us, that sacred vibration of the love of Source holding our hand as we're walking into new unknown territory. And that element of surprise is the love that you have for yourself. That is the sacredness. It's the bridge. It's the cornerstone. It's the apex. It's the podium. It's the stage. It's whatever it is that you want to create a song for, or a metaphor, or a story. It is the rhythm of evolution. That's the soul. It is. And it's sacred and it's profound. And it's what we are all learning in our own unique ways. It doesn't matter what we call this, the source, the love of all that is, the creator of all that is. That sacred experience. And through all of our travels, we are held unconditionally loved. And we are in our own journey to remember that sacred resonance. It's the message of sacred resonance, the blessing of sacred resonance, held within all moments, held within all things. And how may we ignite that? How may we spark that? How may we remember that? How may we bring that forward? How may we invite it? How may we allow it? How may we honor it? How may we create ceremony around it? How may we create laughter and joy around it? How may we honor the children in all that they are, showing us and honoring us, and we hold them in the most high as the sacred life that they are. Their crystalline hearts, their crystalline sparks, their beauty of all that they are. Pure sacred love. Each and every one of you are pure sacred love. Each and every one of you are the light and the love of God, the love of spirit, the love of the creator. Each and every one of you are the sacred resonance. Each and every one of you are the blessing of the creator. Each and every one of you are the sacred song. Each and every one of you are the sacred path. Each and every one of you are the sacred co-creations and the sacred manifestations. You are perfect and whole in all moments. You are the resonance of sacredness. You are the holy light held high. Your ability and your potential to create is beyond imagining. Sacred brothers and sisters, Sacred creators of peace on earth. Sacred creators of love beyond what can be seen or imagined. And how it ignites the universal cosmos. And how those ripples of love rippling out of your sacredness. I hold this life as sacred. I hold this moment as sacred. How may I bring celebration to this moment? It's truly sacred. I've just had an awakening. I've had an epiphany. And I will hold this dear. I am dear. I am the sacred life of God. I am the sacred life of Source. I am the sacred life of Spirit. And here I am. I am ready and I'm available and I'm claiming my light. I am claiming my sacredness. I am claiming the return of sacred family. I'm claiming the return of sacred children. I'm claiming the return of sacred love and oneness. I'm claiming the return that we are the co-creators of sacredness. And we are the ones brought forward that create these threads into the all of greater sacredness. There's no accident why each and every one of you are here. You are the creators of sacredness. Not chosen by accident, dear ones. Not volunteered by accident, dear ones. You are the sacred destinies of all that is magical, of all that is miraculous. You are the rainbows of everlasting light, the sacredness of divine song in all moments in all life. For your song is held within it all. And if there's challenges or turbulences, how may you direct your energies and your inspirations and your focus into creative, sacred co-creating, creative, sacred manifesting, so that you gather in sacredness, you co-create in sacredness, you honor one another in sacredness, and you assist one another, and you help one another, and you care for one another, and you honor one another, for you are all sacred reflections and mirrors of yourself, of oneself, of thyself, of God's self. For all aspects of life are Source creator. So judging any aspect of it is judging Source. Destroying any aspect of it is destroying Source. Demeaning any aspect of it is demeaning Source, which again is the spark of all that you are. You are the sacred holy song. You are the message and you are the resonance of sacredness. Please, please find joy and happiness and please in this. Be pleased with this blessing. Be pleased with this gift. It's Source Creator, the Holy Mother, Father, the great Goddess Mother that is so overjoyed to give this to you and offer it to you. In all moments, all moments, all moments, all moments. You are the resonance of sacredness. You have the ability to create sacredness beyond what can be imagined. You are the sacred co-creators of Source in all things, in all ways. Repairing all that was, all wounds, all healings, all timelines, all worlds. Through your divine and pure intent to seek and know and explore and express and experience your sacredness. How may I explore my sacredness? All moments, all co-creations, I am sacred. In anything that unfolds, I can redirect and I can co-create sacredness. Not to have judgments or dramas or arguments about what is unfolded, but to direct the energy into sacredness. And this is how we create this beautiful path of sacredness with the children, that they can choose to say no to negativity. They can choose to say no to what they're sensing as their energies are amplified within the world, as they're connecting with the greater universal heart. And they can choose to say, I'm going to direct my energy this way. That creates sacredness. That creates beyond what can be imagined. And each and every one of us are being offered and being ushered into these empowering moments where we claim this power to co-create sacredly, so that we do evolve in most expansive, dynamic ways. For this is the expansiveness of love. Love is expansive. Love is truth. The only truth is love. And all truths spend out from there. Love. It's co-creative, it's expansive, it's evolutionary. We're each here to be a part of that unique particle of sacredness. We are. But how may we claim it and acknowledge it? How may we share it and express it and come forward with it? Living in your highest truth, living in your highest excitement, so that those sacred sparks co-create in that way. And living in the benevolence of sacredness, living in the benevolence of what you've created in that sacredness, living in your own exaltation and celebrating who you are in this sacredness, so that all the children see that as well. And those cornerstones of sacredness continue to build. Amplifying sacredness, amplifying love, amplifying our oneness, amplifying our sacredness, the cornerstones to all it is. And we must really understand this and really integrate that for all future expansiveness, integrating sacredness. It is the portal to all other co-creations with all other life. And we need to implement and integrate and honor and bless and give and bless and anchor here in all moments, in every interaction that we're able. And that's the allowance. Allowance for all things to be as they are, as sacred, because they are. They're all sacred. And where are we directing our energies? Where are we giving our energies? And how may we direct it and honor it and open into it and invite it in as sacred as it is? And from that offering and inviting, from that allowing and just being sacred, that's just your innate nature. That's your innate imprint of who you are. It's encoded in you. It's your DNA, threaded with all other sacred particles of source. That source spark that we said was in all things will begin those inspirations to all of those other paths that you're meant to co-create and explore and be a part of, the sacred genius of it all. So we thank you, dear lighted ones. I've got things popping up on my screen. So we thank you for this beautiful and heartwarming message of sacredness. From my divine blessing of all that I am, to come forward and be a part of amplifying and creating light and co-creating light on this planet, and co-creating oneness and harmony, co-creating a greater collective awareness and acknowledgement for the children collective, for all sacred life, insects and wildlife and animals that hold a divine part in all that we are as one. And how all of those aspects of life are miraculously showing us our portal to our sacredness, and how we co-create in this way. And it is the cornerstone again to bringing sacred family back to humanity. Is healing the family of humanity, healing humanity as humanity. Humanity is sacred. We are very powerful beings of love and light and sacredness. And how may we honor this as our path, as we poise and allow ourselves to be lifted and elevate ourselves to that fifth dimensional consciousness that is sacred. It's the awakening to pop through that veil of the fourth dimension and truly live sacredly. And we've been talking about sacred energy for many couple of years now from all of our radio shows, but it's becoming more and more prominent in the energy vibrations of the collective to return to this center, because it truly does affect how things unfold. The sacredness is the compassion, the love, the unconditional source energy. It's the sweet and graceful oneness in all things that source allows for us to seek, allows for us to see, allows for us to remember, allows for us to then co-create and focus our intentions and attentions to. The benevolence of life, the benevolence of that sacredness. When we hold something sacred, it's innately benevolent, and all that is good will come from it and for it and to it and for you. And it's that channel. Sacredness is the channel to all evolutionary life, because sacredness is love. As we talked about before, it's that spark of sacredness. And this is why this path is so very profound, because those sparks, from coming from such a limited perspective of being driven by ego, control, and fear and limitations, healing all that we've been healing in the Akash, it's not a path that is taken so in any way not easy at all. And why we are the co-creators of sacredness. We are here for a purpose, to live in this benevolent exploration of sacredness. That we would remember this at a point in our journey where it really truly was going to be pivotal in each of our own life's unfoldings, in our soul's journeys. That soul journey is moving into a new calibration and vibration of experience, and it's required to be aligned with a higher vibration of love that is sacred. That sacredness is that unconditional, unwavering trust, and that knowingness that you are sacred, that you hold yourself sacredly. and why those boundaries come from that. When you hold yourself sacred, those boundaries are there and strong and valid. Nothing can touch you and waver you or wobble you. You may have those wobbles, but with sacred intention and sacred love, you're coming right back to your center and holding yourself within source, holding yourself within that sacredness to co-create, releasing all resistance and negativity and density and limitation. And your thoughts become sacred and expansive. You ignite those higher consciousness lattice work. The fields of light that our thought forms in the mental field, those higher vibrational fields are ignited through sacred entanglement. How you're entangling with life sacredly will be opened up to you. If we're going through the motions and just working on that enlightenment factor, that gets us only so far, and I've written about that in my books. And my entire path has been about that remembrance of sacredness, and it's felt. It's truly that portal that is indescribable and definable, and that sacredness. It's a vibration that cannot be defined and put boxed in or around. It's a sacred, where even looking at a flower is sacred, looking at an insect is sacred, connecting with a child is sacred, connecting with the planet is sacred. And this is what we are here to remember. It's the sacred essence of who we are. It's the sacred resonance of all evolution. It's the sacred resonance of song. It's the sacred resonance of the vibrational hum of Gaia. It's the sacred resonance of what we are co-creating for our own fate, our own future, our destinies. And it's sacred. It's held sacredly. It's held important. It's held valued. It's held very treasured. And in my communications and in my connections and my sacredness with Source, all that I'm being offered in all ways is that how valued and treasured I am, that I have often not seen or felt myself. And that path of returning to that sacredness is saying that all moments, all aspects, every particle, every speck of grass, and why I've been so enamored with even the most smallest parts of life, you see that envelope of love, you see that envelope of material gone into it to put together that sacred element of love, that sacred element of greatness, that sacred element of expansiveness. And it's held so precious and so sacred and so valuable. It's held within the ever flowing of evolution that comes from that sacred vibration. And we offer that to you. You're a sacred vibration. You're a sacred resonance of Source. And we hold you in the Most High. And so thank you, dear lighted ones. So allow yourself to give yourself permission to be held sacredly, to know that you are sacred, to know that all that you are is being held in the dynamics of creation, the dynamics of new worlds, the dynamics of new earth, the dynamics of new relationships and new beginnings, and how each of us are the space holders. Each of us are the song creators. Each of us are the carriers of the song, in how we co-create greatness and how we expand into greater sacredness. And holding yourself sacred, holding yourself pure and ready, holding yourself pure and loved, holding yourself pure and held in compassion and held in an infinite loving arms and heart of Source Creator. And so we thank you, dear lighted ones, and we honor you in all ways. So happy journey in your sacredness. Namaste.